September 3, 2024. Memorial of Saint Gregory the Great, Pope and Doctor of the Church. A reading from the first letter of St. Paul to the Corinthians. Brethren, the Spirit searches everything, even the depths of God. For who knows a person's thoughts except the spirit of that person, which is in him? So also no one comprehends the thoughts of God except the Spirit of God. Now we have received not the spirit of the world, but the Spirit who is from God, that we might understand the things freely given us by God. And we impart this in words not taught by human wisdom but taught by the Spirit, interpreting spiritual truths to those who are spiritual. The natural person does not accept the things of the Spirit of God, for they are folly to him, and he is not able to understand them because they are spiritually discerned. The spiritual person judges all things, but is himself to be judged by no one. For who has understood the mind of the Lord so as to instruct him? But we have the mind of Christ. The word of the Lord. Responsorial Psalm. The Lord is just in all his ways. The Lord is kind and full of compassion. Slow to anger, abounding in mercy. How good is the Lord to all! Compassionate to all his creatures. The Lord is just in all his ways. All your works shall thank you, O Lord. And all your faithful ones bless you. They shall speak of the glory of your reign, and declare your mighty deeds. The Lord is just in all his ways, to make known your might to the children of men, and the glorious splendor of your reign. Your kingdom is an everlasting kingdom. Your rule endures for all generations. The Lord is just in all his ways. The Lord is faithful in all his words, and holy in all his deeds. The Lord supports all who fall, and raises up all who are bowed down. The Lord is just in all his ways. Alleluia, alleluia. A great prophet has arisen among us, and God has visited his people. Alleluia. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. At that time, Jesus went down to Capernaum, a city of Galilee. And he was teaching them on the Sabbath, and they were astonished at his teaching, for his word possessed authority. And in the synagogue there was a man who had the spirit of an unclean demon, and he cried out with a loud voice, "Ha! What have you to do with us, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the Holy One of God." But Jesus rebuked him, saying, "Be silent and come out of him." And when the demon had thrown him down in their midst, he came out of him, having done him no harm. And they were all amazed and said to one another, "What is this word? For with authority and power he commands the unclean spirits, and they come out." And reports about him went out into every place in the surrounding region. The Gospel of the Lord. Reflection. Tuesday, 22nd week in Ordinary Time. In our first reading today, St. Paul says that the depths of a person can only be known by his own spirit. In other words, I know myself better than others know me, my own depths are more open to me than to someone else. That is not to say that I understand my own depths fully, but I am better placed to understand myself than to understand someone else. I may remain something of a mystery to myself, but I will be even more of a mystery to others. My own spirit is more likely to probe my own depths, someone else's spirit is less likely to probe my own personal depths. In a similar way, St. Paul says in that reading that only the Spirit of God can probe the depths of God. Only God's Spirit knows God. Yet, Paul reminds us in that reading that we have received God's Spirit, the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit helps us to know God. Indeed, Paul says there that God and the things of God will be seen as nonsense by those who are not open to receiving the Spirit of God. We need the Holy Spirit to come to God, to relate to God, to be in communion with God. The Spirit enables us to be astonished by God and His Son Jesus. It is said of the people of Capernaum in today's Gospel reading that they were astonished by what Jesus said and did in their local synagogue, and that His teaching made a deep impression on them. That suggests that they were open to the Holy Spirit at work through Jesus, and at work in their own lives. We need to keep praying, "Come Holy Spirit, because it is the Spirit who helps us to recognize and appreciate the ways that the Lord is present to us and at work among us.